Hey everyone, this is Seyta with the Projector Movement, and today I want to talk about some of my favorite tips for projectors in business. So these things also apply to just work in general. As we know, the world is not exactly created for projectors, and our various energy flow that is different than the 9 to 5 kind of energy flow that generators have. And there are some particular ways that we can work that help to bring our true essence into our work and also help us understand our own energy and really thrive as a successful beings that we are meant to be here. So, as projectors, we naturally are in tune and tapped into the wider energy of life. We're taking things in through our open sacral. The way that our aura works is really on a one-to-one basis, where we deeply penetrate the energy of the person that we're dealing with, and we're also absorbing their energy. We're also absorbing the energy around us. And so one of the most important things for us to realize is that we need to be surrounded by people that actually help us and make us feel good. That obviously includes in the work sphere. And the way that we do that is to make sure that we're as authentic to ourselves as possible. We're not going to attract the right people into our work lives unless we are transmitting clear energy. So a lot of the business tips that I have, spoiler alert, are general projector tips because work is such a big sphere of our lives and we bring our projector energy into that. So there is no way to avoid going through the deconditioning process as a projector who is successful in business and in work. And so the first tip that I want to share with you is kind of a back-end approach to really working on your business that has to do with hastening along the deconditioning process. What I'm talking about is creating some intentions or affirmations. And I have one that I'd really like to share that's applicable to all projectors. But first, I just want to say an intention or an affirmation practice is absolutely key for projectors, because what happens as we are aligning deeper and deeper to our true self, we're asking that conditioning from the past and beliefs that don't serve us fall away and transform into new beliefs that do serve us. In a wider context, what we are here to be and do as projectors is to embody in our own specific way the human experience of being consciousness that is creating the world around us. So we create our lives, we create the circumstances of our lives based on what we feel, what we think. It's why deconditioning works. When you stop following the voices that are steering you astray from past voices like you're not good enough, or why don't you have the energy that other people have. When we stop listening to those voices and act on the wisdom of our authority, what we're actually doing is taking action in the world from a place of the wisdom of our bodies. So we can actually fast track this by working with affirmations, or you could call them self-suggestions. But what those are doing is they're rewiring the thoughts that go through your mind. And the more that we reinforce positive thinking that actually helps us get in tune and better aligned with our higher purpose and our real reason for being here, when we do that, it's actually loosening the grip of the shitty voices that are like, no, you can't do that. No, you're not here to do that. Why does anyone want to listen to your voice? Whatever it is, going through your mind in that inner monologue, we really can do this work in the background through a solid affirmation practice to reinforce pathways of thinking that actually serve us. So I want to offer this general affirmation for work specifically and for business specifically. And the way to use this is when you're working and you're not feeling seen, anytime that the negative signpost of bitterness or even resentment arises in you around work, the first step is to notice that and just take a pause, take a few breaths, center yourself, and go ahead and take control of your inner monologue and go ahead and say this affirmation. You can craft it differently if you want, but this is just a really good general work self-suggestion for projectors, which is after you center yourself. And I want you to really, even if you don't believe this, or if it doesn't feel true right now, I want you to pretend that you believe it and feel it. So you can simply say, I bring my authentic gifts and my authentic self into the world through my work. And my work is easeful, joyous, and at my own pace. I bring success to myself through my work. So I'll put that in the description of this video. But I want to stress this. If you just repeat this or craft it for yourself, but make sure that it includes a feeling of success and your authentic self bringing it into your work, this is going to work in the background. Go ahead and say it multiple times a day. Just know when you say it, just really take a moment to tune into yourself. And you can even feel it projecting from your heart space. This may sound like not concrete business advice, but trust me, this kind of inner work and sort of fast tracking your deconditioning by doing this reconditioning of your inner thinking is so effective. And it's something you can do in the background. It's something that you can do even if you have a busy life and you're transitioning into wanting to do your own work, or it's just something that you can always do. So that's my number one tip. Another tip that I want to share with you is to garner awareness of your own flow of energy. So you may have heard that projectors are not here to work. I don't believe that's true. I think what that's getting at is we're not here to slave away. We're not valued by our productivity and the amount of work we can achieve. Our value is bringing our true essence into the world. Our value is being us. And we, over time, can learn how to harness that and bring it into the workplace, where really projectors should be, at the end of the day, or, when you're in a good place in your process, you are here to be paid for, to have the resources you need to support your success in sharing your unique wisdom, your unique mastery of a system, your unique way of guiding energy. This can look like so many different things, but the key thing that we really need to know to be able to do this is how our own energy works. So we're here to work, but the way that we're here to work is to be in our joy and to share our joy and wisdom with others, guiding them. And so in order to do that, we need to really understand how our own energy works. And this is personal to us as individuals. It's true that we all have an open sacral center, and that means that we don't have a consistent day-to-day energy resource to just, clock in, work the 9 to 5, clock out, boom, done. What it does mean is that one of the things going on with how our energy works is we are constantly running the energy of whatever it is that we take on. So we're essentially working 24/7. it is valuable work that you're doing when your work is on your mind, when ideas are flowing, when you're just ruminating on something. Our work gets into our energy field and we really hold it. You're really holding the energy of your work. And so the first thing to note with that is that you really are working 24/7. It's not necessarily the case for other energy types that this happens. And I don't think it's something that is talked about that much, but knowing that we need to modulate our energy based on what energy we actually have available for us in the moment. So we can, by having a little bit of awareness about our energy, we can really track when we have energy and when we don't. So a huge key for us as projectors is to seize the moments where we have energy and do work tasks during that time, knowing that all the rest of the time we're kind of in the background, we're holding the energy of our work. But then there are those moments and those windows where I know we all know what it feels like when you have the active energy to be working on something. So as projectors, we can be hyper productive. We often get into the negative space of others recognizing how effective and productive we can be when we do have energy, and just becoming, like it's often said in the human design community, like super slaves. We have that level of productivity expected of us all the time. We're like, yeah, I can do it. We often don't delegate. We're like, I can do that. It takes less energy for me to just bust it out than to try to explain it to someone else. That kind of stuff. And it's a huge task and of great benefit to us to learn when we have energy, what that feels like to us, and also to learn how to delegate, which tends to be pretty uncomfortable to us because we kind of secretly know that we can do it. We can do it. We can do it the best. We'll do it better than someone else. And that's a trap that we can fall into, and that can get us really stuck in this generator working, can't get out of it kind of rhythm. So in order to notice your own energy and track that, a great thing to practice, you can maybe try this over a week. When you're working, notice when you start to get tired. Notice when you start to feel bitter. Look for these signposts, either feeling bitter, feeling like you just can't think as well, like you're kind of like slogging through, you feel tired, or things feel stuck or slow, and you're like, oh, I wish I didn't have to do this right now. Whenever you notice that happening, I want you to notice what task you're doing and what time of day it is. Just see what kind of patterns you can notice about that. And also try to notice when you do feel on fire to do stuff. And it might surprise you. It could be at 11 o'clock at night after everyone's gone to bed. You have some time to yourself, and your mind is just like thinking about your business or about your work. And it's outside of what you think of as your regular hours. But notice if that happens, and try just doing a little bit of work and then see how you feel afterwards. I've been experimenting with this for a long time, and I noticed that my energy really fluctuates and changes. And sometimes I will get inspired late in the evening, and I'll just, instead of my regular past mindset of like, oh, I'm not going to think about that right now, that's work, and I'm going to do that tomorrow at such and such hour. Instead of catering to those thoughts, I have been instead just doing it, just being like, oh, it doesn't matter when my work hours are, I'm inspired now, I'm going to do it. And then after I spend a half an hour or an hour or whatever it is, while it feels in flow for me to be working on something, afterwards, I, without fail, have that sweet feeling of success where I'm like, oh, That was good. I was in flow. I think that content I just made, or whatever it was, a spreadsheet or whatever kind of work it was I was doing. Oh, I just knocked that out. And now I don't have to do it tomorrow. So you're also buying yourself free time during your regular working hours tomorrow, or whatever it may be. So tracking your energy and seeing how much you can really maximize doing things when you actually have the energy to. And when you notice that your energy is flagging, take a break, and see how that goes. It doesn't have to be a long break. It doesn't have to disrupt your day. It can be stop, take a few breaths. Like this would be when when you notice feeling tired or bitter or just kind of brain fog. Take a few breaths. If it feels right, maybe feel from your heart and say your intention, your self affirmation, and also ask your body. I like to do this in a way where it's like I'm communicating with my body as if it's another person, because it kind of is. It has its own wisdom that is actually the one I need to pay attention to. But I like to say in my mind or out loud, depending on where I'm at, what do we need right now? Body, what do you need? What do we need? To me, it helps to put my hand on my heart. It's like, oh, hello, self. I'm caring for you right now. What do we need? And it might be, often it's like, I actually need to drink some water. Kind of these regular day-to-day maintenance tasks of the body can be really difficult for some projectors. The whole sphere of adulting in that way can feel like drudgery and monotonous. And because we can get sucked into other people's energy, or when we do have the energy, we just keep going and keep going and keep going. And as we all know, one of the tricky parts of being a projector is not knowing when to stop. So when you do notice your energy flagging, take a minute to say, body, what do we need? Take a few breaths, get some water, lay down for 5 minutes, whatever it may be, try honoring that, and then seeing how that affects your energy flow. So I hope that's helpful. Those are some really deep, but simple self-care tips that actually can majorly transform your business in the way of feeling less bitter, feeling more successful, but also with that intention, that working in the background is really helping you to align to the work that is right for you. It's helping you receive invitations that your authority is actually going to say yes to. Those couple of things, this practical observation and awareness around your own energy, as well as doing this background work of self-suggestion when you feel like you're dragging, really anytime. I mean, the more you do it, the better. And what you want to do with that, side note, I didn't mention this before, is really just be present with that intention, give it your all, and then let it go. Don't check in on it. Don't check, is this happening? Is it working? It's like you're planting a seed in a garden, and the least effective thing to do for that seed to grow is for you to like dig up the dirt and check on the seed. It's going to sprout. It's going to flower and become the beautiful plant that it was meant to be. You just need to keep watering it. And the watering it is continuing to state that affirmation. So I hope that these tips help you. Give them a shot, try them out, see how it goes. And we'd love to hear your feedback. Also, I want to mention, I'm really excited to be teaching in the projector movement. If you haven't seen my face before, I'm the newest teacher here, along with Sarah and Charlie. My background is in business, and it is also in consciousness, arts, ritual, dream work, ancestral healing. And I've essentially made it a career of learning how to work with my own inner senses and my inner guidance through a bunch of tools to be successful in the world. I've had a very varied career through being an entrepreneur and a college professor teaching dreams and consciousness, having a private practice in ancestral healing, ritual, and dream arts, and learning to follow my own path and in the world with success. I'm also a student of human design, and I like to bring some human design knowledge into my teaching. And I'd like to invite you to join me for a two-part series that I'm doing on projector business called Projector Business 101. And the first part is about foundations and learning to create the right mindsets, and also some tools, and also looking at your chart for some good nuggets that will help you to be a projector in business and really in work in general. This doesn't have to be just if you have your own business. This is also applicable to just dealing in a joyful way with that aspect of our lives that we all have, which is work. And so I would like to invite you to join me for that. The information is in the description below. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you there. And do let us know in the comments if you experiment with these tips that I've offered, and how that's impacting your energy, and if it's loosening up, if you can tell it's loosening anything up in your in the conditioning that we all carry. So thanks for being here with me, and I look forward to seeing you soon.